Hi! Good one.
Thanks for that. And my first time at the DevOps thing, so I've been hearing about DevOps for quite some time, and thought it'd be good to come along, and then I was invited to do this lightning talk. Will I talk a lot about ITIL? Probably not. Who's ITIL certified here? Yeah, I thought so. Oh, well, so let's start there. So I guess just as a little bit of background, every job that I've ever had since I was 18, I always try and fix stuff. So I kind of, and mostly for me, it's been about management practices and looking at the way people do stuff. And I look, no, that's not right. And I always complain about it, and then I get the job to try and fix it. And so that's why I ended up being a consultant. So that sort of suits what I do, and it gets me out of bed in the morning in a creative sort of mindset. So I like fixing stuff, including cables. So one of the things we realised when we started Value Flow is that management doesn't get what DevOps is about, and they're still trying to get their head around what ITIL was about, and they're trying to get their heads around project methodologies. And look, there's just a little bit too much going on for most senior managers to get their head around what they should do. He's like water. I am encouraged that there are a lot of senior managers talking about DevOps now, and part of what I like to try and do is to help demystify this sort of stuff so senior managers can make good decisions. Because they tend to get hold of methodologies from the wrong end of the stick and mandate stuff and do things that are kind of impractical and don't deliver the value. So I try to help them out in figuring out what to do right. And one of the things that we figured out a little while ago, and Gartner helped with this, is that not everything in the portfolio is the same. So we do have systems of innovation, all wild and crazy stuff in mobile, online, apps that are really changing the competitive landscape for the business. And the business is really keen on those, and they're really keen on having them now, not last week, not 6 months, not 12 months' time, not on some application roadmap down the road when IT gets around to it. So that's the fast lane of IT, and that moves at the market pace. The market, Combank brings out this app, then ANZ wants to bring out that app. So everyone's competing against each other. And then we have these systems of differentiation, which are the middle layer, which is my business unit wants to do this for some sort of competitive advantage this year, so we've got to get some stuff done for them. And so those systems of differentiation typically move at a medium sort of speed based on a business plan that says we want to get these things done over the next 12 months. And then we have systems of record or core systems, core banking systems that actually drive the major revenue streams, the supply chains, that sort of stuff. Why is this important? It's important because when you think about how to do stuff, you can't apply a one-size-fits-all. So if we're talking about systems of innovation, you don't want to use ITIL's change management approach where you need 4 weeks lead time to get a change in production, for example. Okay? So this informs us that there are different approaches, different controls, different processes we need for different layers of the portfolio. Okay? So senior management doesn't get this yet. And so they're still trying to do a lot of this. They're trying to hang on to the approach to managing SAP or a core banking system or some sort of major system. So what we're trying to do is to help them understand that, hey, this is what you need to do from a compliance perspective, but this is what you need to do from a competitive perspective. Okay? You've got to lift your game, and you've got to have DevOps so that you can keep up with Agile. Those things have to happen together at the same sort of cadence so that you can compete. So that's what we're trying to convince senior managers. I was at the Gartner conference in November. Every CIO I spoke to there about this went, yeah, that's it. That's actually something that we're missing. It's an important point for me. But what that informs then is that we have to do things at 3 speeds in IT. So there's a fast lane, and I'm guessing that most of you work somewhere around that fast lane. Yeah, so you're working at a higher cadence than typical enterprise IT. So typical enterprise IT is going at that monthly, quarterly, yearly sort of renewal sort of cycles. Then there's a medium lane, and then there's a steady lane. To make all this happen, we've actually got to have some sort of process framework. So something like ITIL is useful to teach us how to do some of those things in those various phases. We need an organisational structure, and we need a management platform and some governance controls. So the platform that my team works with is ServiceNow, which also integrates with Puppet as of the last upgrade, which was at Dublin, which has just come out November, December. Okay, so any of your organisations using ServiceNow as a platform? Yeah, that's a good question. Good question, but it's in the orchestration space. So for deploying servers, so we're looking to see what it looks like yet. We haven't even got it installed on our instance. But that's recognition by servers now that this is the way to manage IT in the future. And what they're also looking at doing is saving configurations in the configuration management database. That's the holy grail of IT, and being able to push it out via Puppet, rather than pushing it out and then storing information back into a CMDB. You actually use a CMDB kind of in an inverted way, which you store the configuration, and then you blast them out into your environments from there. Thus, the whole system starts to work together. Okay, so that's kind of what we're thinking. The other thing is that you also need some sort of process framework that looks something like this, and the DevOps piece is happening in this space and this space down here. So we're also using Kanban for workload management in the build and in the ops space as well. So we're looking at those sorts of ideas. So if you look at what Gene Kim is saying and various authors out of North America, we're trying to combine all of their ideas into one framework. So ITIL is about 5 years behind this. COVID that came out last year is also a fair way behind. We're also looking at user experience design. So that's also something that's come out recently. This is Design Thinking. It's a great book which is about understanding the service experience from the customer's perspective, not the user interface, but the whole service experience. What's it like to log on? What's it like to add a new user? What's it like to raise an issue? All of that sort of stuff. Okay, that's my 5 minutes. It's been awesome. My two colleagues are up the back there. There's 5 of us. We're in startup mode and looking to do business in the Sydney market. So look forward to catching up with all of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave.